Welcome back. Hold my banner, and guess who's back, baby? Travis Thomas. Woo! Here with a walking, talking triple-double. He's a walking bucket. He'll grab some boards. He'll drop some dimes. He'll dunk in your face. Come on. Ante Campbell balled out at Fresno State and UTEP. I missed you, my man. Welcome back.
I miss you too, Travis. And look, I'm also excited that you're bringing some energy into this episode. I hope that JB Bickerstaff can bring that same kind of energy to Detroit basketball.
Bro, I got to tell you. First of all, congrats to him on getting the gig. But let me say, and I said it on this show, and if I'm not mistaken, you agree with me on both here.
Yep.
I think he got fired prematurely at Cleveland. It was clearly so they can keep Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell did not like him for whatever reason, and that's why they ran him out. I think Bickerstaff can coach. I thought his dad could coach. I like him. So I thought he was fired prematurely from Cleveland. I thought he deserved one more season to see if they could get over the next hump in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Secondly, honestly, I'm a big Monty Williams fan, and I thought he was fired prematurely from Detroit. It worked out for him because he got a bag of cash just to leave.
Yep.
But still, I understand how bad they were. That is a talented team, though, and I thought there was nowhere to go but up, Ante, because they were rock bottom. So give him one more season to see if maybe he can have some progress. You stink again, then you fire the guy, and I would think business-wise, your payout would be a lot lower to tell him to get lost than it was for this season.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, both coaches got fired, too soon, in my opinion, from their respective teams. But now Bickerstaff ends up with one of those teams in the Pistons. I think it's a good hire, Tay.
Yeah, I agree to Tease. I think it's a great hire. I think this team really just needs new energy, and they needed a new voice.
Yes.
Not to say Monty was there for forever, but I
Yes.
think he has more of an old school way of kind of approaching the young guys.
Yes.
Where JB really did a really good job with the young guys in Cleveland. So I think this team is going to have a lot of success with him at head coach, honestly.
Me too.
I see it coming in the future, and I have a guy that we might end up talking about later on that I think should join his team. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Look at this. A guy can get buckets. He's a producer extraordinaire, and he's giving out pro-level teases here on Hold My Banner. He can do it all. So we'll bring Ante back later in the program to play a game that I'm sure I'll be terrible at and all of you will laugh at, and that's why we do it. Now, I took some days off after the parade to recover. Last we talked, I was on cloud 9 of being at the Celtics parade. And since I've seen you last, we have a draft to talk about now that it's over. And look, in the end, in Brad, we all trust. The Celtics draft was fine. I was screaming from the mountaintops, take Kyle Flipkowski from Duke in that first round. He fills a need. You need depth at big man. Kristaps is hurt always. He's not even starting the season because he's hurt. Al Horford is 157 years old. How long are you going to keep asking him to play these minutes? Take Flip. And they didn't. And I flipped out. Since then, this is why I say, and Brad, we trust, I'm fine with the Celtics draft. Because since then, if you're not paying attention to the story, Google's your friend, bruh. But for those of you in the know, I think Brad Stevens likely, which won't shock any of us, did his due diligence on this kid and said, yeah, we've had some drama around here. We got rid of that. We're good. We're going to just protect our peace. You go play wherever you want, kid. And, ultimately the Celtics, it looks like anyway, maybe dodged a bullet here with this kid, Kyle Flipkowski. So good for Brad Stevens and the Celtics. If you remember, Jason Tatum even put out a tweet like, oh, man, passing on Flip was a mistake. All good. I'm glad they did. I've calmed down since then. I'm just fine with the Celtics draft. Is it what I would have done in the draft? No. Do I trust Brad Stevens and his judgment and his guidance and his smarts? Yes. So I'm good with that. Now, as far as the big picture of the draft, I thought there were two clear-cut winners, big picture. I'll get into teams that won and lost in this draft, but just big picture, zoom out, kind of macro, looking at this. France. I mean, are they not on the top of the basketball world right now? I can't even believe this. 5 Frenchies taken in this draft, 4 of them in the first round. 3 of those were in the top 10, including the top 2 picks. I mean, France, you are winning right now. And then here's the other one, the UConn Huskies. I thought it was a really good look for Dan Hurley and the Huskies, because how many times do we see in college basketball, you may be winning championships, but you're not putting guys in the league, or vice versa. Like Kentucky, Cal, all those years. Yeah, they have a championship or 2, but that's it. Mostly, it's putting guys in the league. Kentucky fans will tell you we should have way more championships. So it's usually one or the other. Yin and yang kind of balances out. I thought it was a great look for UConn to say, and Dan Hurley, who, by the way, decided to stay, right? And build this dynasty mode like you're playing a video game. I'll stay here in stores. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? I mean, now they're winning titles, and then they took 2 of their best players, and they went top 10 in the first round. 2 lottery picks. Great look for UConn. So those were my big takeaways from this draft now that it's over in our rear view. UConn and France won the draft. Now, as far as individual teams and all that, this was a weak draft overall. So I could be like probably most hosts and sit here and go through the teams that I thought had a really good draft, but here's the reality. I mean, this draft class sucked. So we're not really going to know who the hell is any good until years later anyways. That's how good drafts work. This is a weak draft class, so this could take maybe forever. And we could look back on this and say there was really nothing in this draft. I don't believe that to be the case, but it could happen because it wasn't great. So again, I look at things from a macro perspective. And I'm seeing a lot of banging on the Lakers and Bronny and LeBron. And I actually think LeBron and Bronny were winners in this draft. Here's what I mean. First of all, let's talk about the kid. I didn't even think Bronny should be playing in the G League, let alone in the draft. I thought Bronny should come back to school, develop his skills, get his health intact. Let's all remember there was a health scare there. Make sure he could stay healthy. Make sure everything's good. Up his game, and then come into the draft next season. Wasn't to be the case. I get it. That's a win for Bronny to get drafted at all, let alone to your dad's team, let alone to the second greatest franchise in the history of basketball, the Los Angeles Lakers. We all know who's number 1. Banner 18, excuse me. So that's a win for Bronny. For the Lakers standpoint, I get it. Yeah, they're in bed with LeBron. They've given him all the power. They're not making great decisions. It's all LeBron's show. But if you're the Lakers right now, you are not beating any of those teams out there. You're not beating the Mavericks. You're not beating the Nuggets. You're not beating the Thunder. You're not beating the Timberwolves. And there's another team I'll add to this later. But so what can you do? Okay, it feels like LeBron's probably not going to get another ring. Let's give him some money here. Allegedly, he wants a pay cut so they can add another star, maybe have a chance. We need to be relevant. We need to be the Lakers. We need to be the talk of all the sports shows. We need fans to come. We need to just be the Lakers. Maybe not so much on the floor anymore as Showtime, but we still need to be Showtime. We still need to be box office. We need to matter. Remember how bad the Knicks were forever? No one cared about the Knicks outside of New York. That's the worst thing to be when you're a big brand, a big franchise. So the Lakers win here too. Bronny wins because he's on a roster. The Lakers at that with his dad, dream come true. Lakers win. We stay in the headlines, baby. We're good. We're not going to beat any of these teams out here, out west. But everyone's going to talk about us. And we will be a playoff team, and we will be relevant. And we may knock off somebody. We could win a playoff series or 2, depending on matchup. but they're not a championship team. But it's still a win for the Lakers because as long as LeBron is there now, you will dominate the topic of discussion in our country when it comes to basketball. Kudos to them. And LeBron wins here. I mean, yeah, are the decisions being made maybe not the right ones? Yeah, I think we can all see that. But can we just give a tip of the cap to the guy for just wielding that type of power? Increasingly in this league, I just told you, France is winning. International players are winning. These international cats come over here, they're not divas. They're not asking for all these demands. They're not doing that. They've been pros since they were 15, 16 years old. They're coming over here, they're just hooping. That's it. If anything, I think they're more communal than the American star is. They just get in where they fit in. Look at Jokic. He doesn't care about the spotlight. He just wants the ball. Now, I think Luka has a little more personality to him, but he seems to be the same way. LeBron, in a time, in an era, in a league that's increasingly taking power away from stars, I mean, this dude has the ultimate star. Are you kidding? He has power. He's like Professor X for the X-Men. He's running the show. I look at that and I admire that. I know a lot of people tear that down. I understand why. And they say nepotism. Yeah, you're damn right. There's nepotism in every industry. Don't even get me started in this one. Good for LeBron James. I look at this on the opposite end of the spectrum. I have kids. If I become a powerful enough broadcaster to where my kid is getting out of college and he's like, hey, Dad, can you help me out? And I have the ability to do that, you're damn right I'm going to help him. What's wrong with that? I think LeBron wins here because for however long he has, and the rumors, he's looking at a 3-year deal here, right? So let's go with that. Let's say he has 3 more years left in the NBA. Gets to play on the same team as his son, and he's the decision maker. He's the alpha and the omega for the second greatest franchise in basketball in the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, hell, if he doesn't get any other ring, which, by the way, for the record, I don't think he will. I think that Mickey Mouse BS, the bubble one, is it. That's it. And technically, he got one for the Lakers, right? If LeBron doesn't win any more rings at all, which I would bet he does not, he's going out on top. You're running the Lakers, bro. You're getting all the money. You made a terrible Space Jam. You have some shows. I mean, you're running Hollywood. LeBron James is winning on the way out. So's Bronny. So's the Lakers. It's a cool way to end a all-time storied career. That kind of puts a bow on it. Yeah, I have this, I have this many rings. I have this many gold medals. I have these stats. But I ended it with my son next to me on the Lakers. Sounds like a winner to me. Sign me up. Losers. Going back to the draft, the Grizzlies. This pains me to say this, and I know Ante's going to have something to say when we bring him back on this, because no one has beat the drum louder for Zach Edey than me. I mean, you would have to be at Purdue. You'd have to be a Boilermaker to beat the drum louder than I was. Going back to even college basketball, I say this kid is a absolute stud all-timer in college. But in the pros, I think he can work. But I always said, caveat, in the right system. As the draft got closer, I was hearing rumors he could be moving up the draft board. And I said, if he's moving up within reason, 20s, late teens, then that's cool. If Zach Edey's a lottery pick, I'm going to show you a team that made a mistake. And then of all teams, the Memphis Grizzlies, who are the Tasmanian Devil. They run up tempo. John Morant's one of the fastest GDAM players in the league. And you take Zach Edey at number 9, who is the slowest player in the league. Overnight. I don't need to see 40 times. I don't need 3-cone drills. I don't need any of that. I need these 2 eyeballs right here. He is the slowest player in the league. And you take him at 9? What the hell are you thinking? Here's what's going to happen. Ready? I'll give you play-by-play. There's the inbound. Edey inbounds to John Morant. He runs up. There's a bucket by the Grizzlies. Zach Edey's still like not even across half court. Okay, Zach Edey's turning around. He's going to run back and play defense. Oh, he couldn't get there enough time to protect the rim. The other team scored. I mean, like, what are we doing? The Grizzlies, mistake city. And I love Edey. It ain't going to work. I thought, again, in Brad, we trust as I move on. I thought he'd be a great fit for the Celtics, but that's another topic for never. All right, in the end, whatever team you are, you're judged by your draft class, check, re-signing your key pieces, and then what do you add in free agency? Again, draft, your draft class, re-signing your key pieces, this is the criteria, and then bringing in free agents. That's a criteria, right? 2 teams have jumped out to me so far. Still early. So far. I'll give you one in the East and one in the West. And I hate to admit the one in the East. I do. It pains me. But if we're being honest, the New York Knicks are having one hell of an offseason. Now, although I like their moves, I'm on the record as saying, yes, these moves are impressive, but it still really feels like Jalen Brunson and a bunch of role players to me. I know I get pushback. Knicks fans want to fight me. Ante says, what are you talking about? But I still think it's Jalen Brunson and a bunch of dudes. The dudes have just improved around him. Congratulations. Celtics in 5. But I can't deny, first of all, remember my criteria. Draft, re-sign, bringing in, right? Acquiring. Draft-wise, I don't know much about this project of a swingman from France, but they say he has all the tools. That's what they always say with the draft, right? He's going to take some time to marinate, but when he's on, he'll be on. And then Tyler Kolek, I did watch play, and I think he's a tremendous backup point guard for them where they need help. So I love their draft. Then they acquire Mikal Bridges. Now, I told you I'm getting pushback because I look at him as a very high-end role player piece on, let's say, a championship team. I don't think the Knicks are, but let's put him on the Celtics. He's a high-end role player piece. He is. He could be a Derek White for them. He could be. He's on that level, right? So I like Bridges. I don't want to hate. Did they overpay? Hell yeah. But it's the NBA. And then re-signing OG Anunoby. Again, remember my criteria. Draft, re-signing players, acquiring. The Knicks, check. They've done all 3. I like Anunoby. So now we'll see. Isaiah Hartenstein, rumors are they are likely to bring him back. I don't think he's the end-all, be-all, but I do think he can help their goals. So let's see if they bring him back as well. If I'm grading the Knicks offseason, I mean, that's an A. That's an A for them. There's another team out west that jumped out to me. I think, remember the teams I named earlier when I was talking about LeBron and how I believe he's going to go ringless the rest of the way? We all know the teams in whatever order you want. This isn't in order of any particular thing. It's just the reality. Nuggets, Thunder, Mavericks. We understand. It's all the same teams, right? Timberwolves. I think you got to throw the Pelicans in there. I really do. I love their offseason. DeJounte Murray, that is a big boy move, particularly how they acquired him. You didn't have to give up any stars. You didn't have to give up Brandon Ingram. You didn't have to give up Zion. You got DeJounte Murray to add to that? Are you kidding? Now, I know what you're going to say. DeJounte Murray, I mean, who the hell is he? It didn't work out in Atlanta with him and Trae Young. I think Atlanta had the right idea, but it was just the wrong fit. Atlanta thought Ice Trae, DeJounte Murray, best backcourt in the league. If not, certainly one of them. That's box office. That's going to get people here. It's going to get us in the playoffs. We'll be relevant. And then we'll figure it out. We can add another piece as we go. But that's our foundation. I don't knock the Hawks. I don't think that's a terrible game plan. It just didn't work out. Here's why, in my opinion. DeJounte Murray is much more of a go with the flow of a game scorer than he is a give me the ball and get out of the way, take over a game scorer. Trae Young can do that. Trae Young can get the ball and take over a game. DeJounte Murray's not that. We saw this in his career in San Antonio. I think he's better with pieces around him. I do not believe he is box office. I do not believe he is a foundational piece to if you're building your team around DeJounte Murray. I think if you have a talented team, i.e. the Pelicans, and you insert a DeJounte Murray, oh boy, now you're cooking with peanut oil. Because I think he has the ability on that roster to now we see like, okay, yep, this is a right fit for his skill set. I'm telling you, I think the Pelicans now are legit. I would throw them in that cluster of teams. I said, I think it's about 4 or 5 teams I named you out west. I think the Pellies are right there. And by the way, this was a playoff team. I mean, they're there. They just need another gear. DeJounte Murray offers them that. Now, you also have to keep your eye on the 2 biggest names in all of this, Kevin Durant and Paul George. Where do they end up? Because all the teams being rumored for these guys, there could be a pendulum swing in terms of who gets them. So let's take Kevin Durant first. Rumored teams for Durant so far: Rockets, Thunder, Knicks. Now, there'll be others, but those are the rumors for right now. Well, the Rockets are close. They have a young team. They didn't get to the postseason, but they got damn close. We know who coaches them in Ime Udoka. They have absolutely tightened up defensively. Their young players are ascending. And Kevin Durant's not a pain in the rear end. You bring him in, he's going to get along, right? He's not going to come in and rock the boat. This isn't a Jimmy Butler type of personality. Kevin Durant's going to come in and just hoop and help the young guys. He'll enhance that team. So I like the Rockets if they got a Kevin Durant to clearly be a playoff team. How about the Thunder? I mean, Kevin Durant kisses and makes up with that franchise, which, by the way, there's no bad blood. There's nothing he can't take back or no, he never said anything so egregious that he's not welcome there. They can make this work. Again, just like the Rockets, only more so. This was the youngest number 1 seed in history, folks. They are young. They are talented as all get out. You bring a Kevin Durant there, a place he's familiar, a franchise that loves him, a fan base that still misses him. My goodness gracious. That could be enough to push them to an NBA Finals. How about Paul George? Linked to the 76ers, the Warriors, the Magic. All these teams, for both of these guys, are viable. They would become viable pieces for them to get over the hump. Some teams, like the Rockets, could be, hey, get us over the hump from just being on the outside of the postseason to in it. Or in terms of the Thunder or the 76ers, maybe, or the Magic, maybe it's we get this player and we can get over the hump and get to the finals. We can beat us Celtics. I don't believe they can, because I think even Paul George, even Kevin Durant and all their greatness, I don't think there's one singular team they can go to where I would take that team over the Celtics in a 7-game series. I don't believe it. But they could certainly help get those teams closer. And with that, we bring in Ante Campbell, who I'm sure I saw taking notes like a lawyer is going to pick apart my opening statements here. Counsel, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Before we get to this 2011 NBA redraft, Travis,
that's what we're doing? All
that's
right.
what we got coming up.
Right.
I just got to say, you knew it was coming. Zach Edey? Really,
What?
bro? You are over here telling me, oh, I want Zach Edey. I want Zach Edey. Oh, I want Zach Edey. And now you can get on the show and you're going to be like, oh, I wanted the Celtics to take Kyle Filipkowski. Stop lying, Travis. Stop. You knew you wanted Edey. And now you're calling him slow. Stop doing that,
So
bro.
I'm just mad, bro. I'm just mad.
Now you see the flaws in his game. All of a sudden, when he's not going to be in that Celtics green, you see the flaws. Stop it, Travis.
I'm just projecting my own feelings on the poor Zach Edey. Sorry, Zach. You shouldn't have went 9, bro.
Yeah, all right, man. Let's get into this redraft now that we're here. All right?
All right.
So, look, it's the 2011 redraft. We know that there was a lot of great players in this draft class. Yeah. First went Kyrie Irving. Second went Derek Williams, who, man, is probably really far, not even in our top 10 when we make this list.
Awful.
Which is crazy because he was a great college player, but that's the story for another time. So with this, I'm going to take the first pick in this 2011 NBA redraft.
You better go Kawhi.
And, you know, it's funny that you said that because I'm going to go somewhere where you didn't think I was going to go.
Come on, dog. What are you doing?
I'm going to show love to the dude who's getting disrespected by his team and his franchise right now. The guy who went in the lottery in this draft from Santa Margarita, California. His dad is a former Laker. The one and only Washington State Cougar. Klay Thompson with the first pick in this redraft.
Well, sir, I thank you. With the second pick, I'd like to select a champion that actually drove the bus in Kawhi Leonard. Thank you very much.
Why are you taking Kawhi over Klay? Why would you take Kawhi over Klay?
Well, I'm not taking him over Klay because you took Klay 1. But if I had the first pick, you're damn right I'm taking Kawhi. Now, Kawhi's a pain in the butt.
Yes.
But if we're redrafting, I literally watched this guy put a loser franchise on his back in a city that hasn't won anything. They're a hockey town, okay? They haven't won in that either in a million years. And he put the whole city, a loser franchise with a loser rapper and Drake on his back and won a title.
You're boring me, all right? The best ability is availability, Travis.
Fair.
And Kawhi's never available. He's probably the worst superstar in NBA history, honestly, because he's never plays. But all right, with the third pick, I'm going to take a really good player who is available, who actually did make it deep in the playoffs, unlike those other two bums ahead of him. I'm going to take Kyrie Irving.
Oh, my God.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dookie.
You know, one thing about you, man, like you're such a hooper that you just look at skill set and you just fall in love. You know what I look at? I mean, I think I represent the people watching Hold My Banner.
Hold on, Travis. If I just love skill set, then I would have took Kawhi because Kawhi has a better skill set than Klay.
I'm looking at grit and toughness.
Whatever.
And blue-collar mentality. You know what my team does? We pack our lunchbox and we put our hard hat on. You know what your team is? I mean, you guys, during lunch break, you're sipping champagne out of champagne flutes. You know what my guys are doing?
What?
I mean, we're pounding Coke Zeros, baby. Eating turkey and cheese sandwiches without any condiments on it. Just the meat and the cheese on Wonder White bread, baby. Not that fancy wheat crap that you're eating. So with that being said, give me a worker. Jimmy Butler. Thank you.
I like that pick, but I wasn't taking him over Kyrie. But all right, with the fifth pick, I'm going to take another bucket getter supreme. A guy that had a lot of buckets in the Garden. Played over here in our area for a city and a town and a state of stores, Connecticut. Mr. Kemba Walker with the fifth pick.
Finally, a pick you took that I don't have a problem with. All right, I was going to go there. You took it. Respect. Give me Nikola Vucevic. I always felt like he was underrated. You know, he's really I call you the walking, talking triple-double. He was literally a walking double-double.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy could score. He grabbed boards. He never won anything because he was on crap teams. But I've always been a fan of Vuce, so I'll take him here.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I like going with the big there. I was thinking about going the big with this seventh pick, but I think I'm going to stick to my guard regiment that I got going out here and go get me just another walking bucket, a guy who was last in this draft. It's obvious who I'm talking about. He gave this city of Boston a lot of great games. Honestly, his best stretch throughout his NBA career. I'm going with Mr. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I respect that. I watched him. You know, I've told you this story before. I was covering the Wizards for years, and I remember the playoff series that he just absolutely abused them. He fell on the ground, lost a tooth, got up, went to the sideline for 2 seconds, came back in and abused them again. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. I remember he tragically lost his sister and was just dropping buckets on the Wizards like nobody's business in the playoffs.
Yep.
So I like that. I'll go a guy neither one of us like, but, you know, there's slim pickings the rest of the way in this draft. I will go Tobias Harris. He hasn't won anything. I think he hasn't lived up to the hype that rightfully has been placed on him.
Yeah.
But he's not a scrub. He's not a bad player, and it's not his fault that his teams lose.
Yeah.
It's just that he should be doing more to ensure that they don't. But he is a bucket, so I'll go Tobias Harris.
I hate you for forcing me to take this next pick because I wouldn't trade Tobias Harris for a box of cookies. So I had to take this next guy because you took Tobias Harris, and I really don't like either of these two dudes. But dang, I got to take the Kardashian, man. Tristan Thompson.
Oh, what the hell's wrong with you?
I have to. I mean, he's a winner.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He's an NBA champion. He's a winner.
He's an NBA champion.
He's from the school that you love.
He's an NBA champion.
UT Austin.
He's a champ. They won that champ because of him.
He's an NBA champion, and he's also off the court champion because he clearly keeps winning his woman back. I don't know how he does that.
I can't argue that. I can't argue.
I don't know how he keeps doing that.
I can't argue that.
So he's a champion on the court and off the court. You know what I'm saying? I'm not condoning the actions. The actions are horrendous. He's a horrible man,
bro.
But as a basketball player in this draft, I gotta take him ninth.
Hey Tay, he is the baby I'm sorry GOAT. He is the GOAT of baby I'm sorry. Can you please find it in your heart?
Exactly.
For some reason, Tay, when I did the baby I'm sorry, I was kicked to the curb every time. But this cat right here, baby I'm sorry. You're right. You are sorry. Okay. Look, I got my pick here. I thought for sure 3 of these cats will be gone. I'm looking at my draft board. I got Marcus and Markieff Morris. I have Reggie Jackson, not Janet Jackson. Give me Marcus Morris. I thought he was a better. I covered Markieff, but I always thought Marcus was a little better. So give me Marcus Morris.
You know, you surprised me a little bit with that pick, and I think the Twins are great. And I also think we had some guys like Brendan Knight, who was also had a great career, short but great career when he did play. That was tossed up in there. But I thought you were going to go JV, Jonas Valanciunas.
Nah. I always felt he was overrated. I was never a fan, so you could take him. Congratulations.
No. The draft is over. That's
it. That's it?
That's it. We got through the 10.
Right,
that was the 10th pick.
No, so. I would have went Markieff or Reggie Jackson over him. That was on my draft board.
Okay. All right. Well, can we talk about some other good players? Because the bottom of that list, that wasn't a great player. You talked about it a little bit, but DeJounte Murray over the weekend was traded to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
You gave your thoughts a little bit about this trade, but I really want to hear about what you think of it from the side of the Hawks, like what they got out of this trade.
Well, they made a choice.
Yeah.
You and I thought Trae Young would be on the move and they would build around DeJounte, and they made a choice.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the right decision. I would have traded Trae Young because I just believe he's I don't know if you can win with him on the highest level. And I told you how I think you win with DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
So good for the Pelicans, good for DeJounte too. You go from Atlanta to New Orleans. It's not a terrible city switch either.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to Utah. So I think everybody wins here. And clearly the Hawks have to they chose to stick with Trae.
Yeah.
And they got to figure out how to build around him. They haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, you have me laughing because you talked about the city, and he's dating Young Boy's baby mama, and Young Boy's from
who is
DeJounte.
What?
Yeah.
Well, he's locked up, so it doesn't matter anyways.
Ooh, yeah. Well, for now, but they always got goons hanging around.
That's crazy.
The New Orleans cats ain't nothing to play with. But
I didn't know that.
I want to bring up the trade for the people who don't know. Obviously, thanks to Shams, we see it here on the screen. The Hawks gave up DeJounte to go to the Pelicans, and they received Larry Nance and Dyson Daniels and 2 first-round picks. I think it was a good trade for the Hawks for sure, obviously, because I think this Pelicans team is probably going to give like 2 years to DeJounte before they probably give up on him. So I think it's a good trade because these picks might end up being high first-round draft picks. I think they obviously see something in Dyson Daniels, who played good basketball and spot minutes and spot opportunities with the Pelicans. So they're really banking on those guys. I know they're not banking on Larry Nance's old self because now that he can't jump, he sucks. So, it is what it is. But, all right, let's talk about LaVine now, man. So,
please.
LaVine is being talked about as untradeable. They are saying that I don't even think if he's they attach a first round pick, a team would take him. So he's obviously making like $43 million. I think it's $35 million over the next 3 years.
That's a problem.
Why do you think teams don't want to take Zach LaVine?
He's a loser. He's very talented, but he doesn't help you win, and he's proven that. His entire career, he's proven that. Mm-hmm. He can get numbers. He's empty calories. He'll get you numbers. He'll look good, and then you're not going to win anything, and then he'll get hurt. That is the repeat offense here.
Yeah.
And he's expensive.
So what teams do you think he should be kind of looking at for his next venture?
Well, the finances are going to have to work themselves out. Yeah. Because if I'm a team, and I've said, I'm a big Magic fan.
Yep.
If I'm the Magic, Zach LaVine's perfect for me because I already have young, hungry players who want to win. Yep. Paolo is my leader. My team, my young boys, they play defense. Yep. They got everything. And I've been saying they need veteran leadership, they need shooters, and they need scorers to put alongside Paolo.
Yep.
Consistent scorers. Klay Thompson fits. I think that's a right fit. And I also think, in a lot of ways, Zach LaVine. I brought up D'Angelo Russell, but it looks like he's opted in. He's staying with the Lakers.
Yep.
But Zach LaVine works too. Yeah. Because he wouldn't have the pressure of winning anything. He cannot lead you.
Yeah,
but he could come in and score, Ante.
Yeah, he can. And I was going to go with a different team for a lot of the same reasons. And I alluded to it, but Detroit basketball.
Yeah, perfect.
Besides Tim Hardaway, they have just a bunch of 24 and younger guys, honestly, in their rotation. So, and they have the money because they're not paying anybody yet. They haven't had to pay Cade yet. I think this team would be a lot better for him than Chicago because there are no expectations in Detroit. They've been so bad for so long. It's going to be like a Blake Griffin situation where he comes in and he could be an instant offense for them and kind of revitalize his career.
Yeah.
All right, so we stole a couple fan questions from Boston that's entered the chat.
All right.
And I'm ready to kind of roll through them with you. I know we got one from Nigel, and he asked us, there's a Villanova reunion in New York. Is Mikal Bridges the piece that the Knicks were missing? What do you think about that, Travis?
The piece that the Knicks were missing as it pertains to what? See, here's the issue. And this is why I wanted to give the Knicks props off the top, but also still take my shot at them. Meaning, I love their offseason. I went through it to start the show. Draft, re-signing OG, bringing in Bridges. Like, I like what they're doing. But when you say the second part of that question, Nigel, of is he the missing piece to what? To beating the Celtics? Then my answer is no. I think the Knicks are better. I think they're deeper. But we all know what's going to happen here, right? They're going to have injuries because that's what that coach does. He runs you into the ground. And then they're going to get it in a 7-game series with the Celtics, and they're going to get their ass kicked. That's what's going to happen. So what is he the missing piece to?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think it really puts them over the edge. I think they will be the exact same round that they were in this past year. They'll probably get to the second round in the playoffs, maybe have an opportunity to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But we all know Tibbs is going to run this dude into the ground. He hasn't missed an NBA. He hasn't missed a game, not even an NBA game.
That's going to change.
Since high school.
That'll change.
So that's going to change really quickly with him playing with Tibbs.
Yep.
And I think that's going to end up being the issue over there. So I agree.
Did I see Nigel also asked, what do we watch now? The NBA is over. Did I read that right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay,
he
Nigel,
did.
Listen, here's what you do. Look, I'm a sports junkie, so I'm all in baseball. But I'm guessing if you're asking me that, you're not a baseball guy. So, Nigel, trust me on this. Spend time with your family and friends because because football season is coming, and you're not going to see any of those people during then. So right now, Nigel, take advantage of this time. If you got a girlfriend, spend some time with her, or a wife. If you don't, maybe you'll get one because you could spend some time right now. But in football, send them all to the curb.
You got to watch the W, obviously. We got Summer League coming up, the Olympics. There's a lot of great things. All right,
but
Travis?
Also spend time with those around you, because when football comes, you won't.
Yeah, definitely. No question about that. All right.
You can tell Ante's a good person. Tay, we appreciate you. He spends time with his friends and family no matter what the season is. Me, on the other hand, not so much. We appreciate you, Tay, as always. And you know what? Let's end it there. I mean, hey, I get it, right? It's the dog days of summer. But the NBA is up right now, as far as I'm concerned. Think about all the money they just got in that TV deal from multiple partners. It's going to be NBA all over the place. That's fantastic. Ratings are high. The WNBA is kicking butt. We still have trades. We still have free agency. I know it's the dog days of summer, but please roll with Ante and I here on Hold My Banner. We'll hold you down the whole way. Till next time, we'll see ya. Peace.